Let's speak more now to Liberal Senator Jessica Collins, who's joined us live in the studio. Thanks for your time here on Sky News Australia this morning again. The Israeli president has issued a sort of message of peace, hoping that Israel and Australia will become closer following his visit and following the events we've seen over the last weeks and months. Do you think that message of peace is going to be well listened to here in Australia?
Well, I certainly hope so. We have seen that these protests are looking like they're going to go ahead, which I think is very unfortunate. If there's anything that the Prime Minister has done with all of this, I think it is welcoming the President to come out to Australia. I think it is a really important message to show that, hey, this relationship that we have with Israel is very important. The Jewish community here in Australia is hurting. The Australian community is hurting. Everybody's been grieving through all of this. I don't think these protests are going to help at all. And quite frankly, I think it's pretty disappointing that these protesters won't be out there protesting for the Iranian people as well. I mean, if we're going to talk about Middle Eastern issues, there's a huge community here in Australia that is grieving for what their family and friends are going through at the moment too.
Yeah. It seems pretty uncontroversial when Anthony Albanese first extended the invite to Israel's president in the wake of the Bondi Beach massacre. Why do you think the mood has changed?
Well, they're always looking for something to protest about. And, there is that huge grievance with the pro-Palestinian people that, anything to do with Israel coming out here, they're going to find that excuse to go and protest. The president of Israel, Herzog, is virtually like the Governor-General here in Australia. He's coming out here to share that message of love and light and peace, which, is always that message from the Jewish community. So I do wish him well in his time out here.
What is your concern? I mean, officers are going to face a really tough time policing these protests. There's such concern over the social cohesion here in this country. Are you worried about ugly scenes? Oh,
absolutely. Always worried about ugly scenes. We've seen that before. We've seen flag burning before. I think that's absolutely disgraceful, and unfortunate that Phil Thompson's bill a few weeks ago didn't get up about criminalising flag burning. These things can always turn ugly. I think the police are absolutely prepared for that. I understand there's going to be huge numbers of police, and if anybody veers out of the protest zone, I understand that they will be arrested, and quite rightly so.
Yeah. Listen, let me turn to the nation's economy. I know it's something you have an expertise and an interest in. We've had this debate about proposals to reduce the capital gains tax discount, the sort of opposing views as to whether or not you're stimulating the buying of properties for richer Australians at the expense of first-time buyers. What's your view?
Well, first up, we know that we have such a huge proportion of the Australian community that just can't afford to buy a house at the moment. You look at Gen X and they are absolutely in despair. They don't have any hope about buying a house anytime soon. I think that's quite sad. So, one of the first priorities of the government right now should be looking at increasing that supply to bring down the houses. Now, this CGT tax proposal, I don't think is going to go anywhere near that. There are some important housing reforms that can be achieved, but I don't think this is going to do that. And in the end, this is just another tax grab. We've seen that, the reports this week from the RBA that government spending is absolutely massive. They showed that in the committee yesterday, and well done to my colleague Simon Kennedy, member for Cook, who managed to get the RBA to confirm that government spending was absolutely huge. And putting pressure on inflation in this country and, of course, contributing to the rate rise this week.
OK. Lots of behind-the-scenes talks this week in Canberra about the future of the coalition. Where do you think we stand now?
Well, I think we're in a bit of an existential crisis, quite frankly, and the Australian people have spoken. They spoke at the election and they continue to do that now with the polls and, the surging numbers for One Nation. They want us to have some really, really strong positions, and they're concerned about housing, they're concerned about immigration, they're concerned about the economy, and they're concerned about their future. And what we need to do as a Liberal Party, we're not in a coalition at the moment, which is very unfortunate, but what we need to do is have some really strong positions on all of those things.
Can you continue to do that under Susan Lee?
Absolutely. She is taking the fight up. She has a really difficult task right now, but Susan is our leader and she's going to, help us with that direction that we need to find going forward.